Hey football fans, welcome back to the channel. This year's NFL draft felt a little different, especially at the quarterback position. Unlike last year's frenzy where 6 QBs were off the board in the first 12 picks, the 2025 draft saw a much more spread out approach, with only 6 quarterbacks selected within the first 180 picks. While one of those, Jalen Milroe with the Seattle Seahawks, seems like a true developmental prospect unlikely to start this season, the other 5 are on a much faster track to potentially becoming their team's starting quarterback. Today, we're diving into that group, breaking down when we can realistically expect these rookie signal callers to take the field as starters. Let's get into it. Cam Ward, Tennessee Titans. Week 1 starter? Let's kick things off with what seems like the most straightforward situation. Cam Ward with the Tennessee Titans. Drafted as the first overall pick. If Ward isn't starting Week 1, something seriously unexpected and likely very bad has happened in Tennessee. Despite this clear path, head coach Brian Callahan has been publicly insistent on not officially naming Ward the starter just yet, even having him split reps with Will Levis during offseason programs. But let's be real, nobody's fooled here. The Titans selected Ward first overall for a reason. He's their franchise quarterback of the future, and barring an absolute meltdown in camp or a significant injury, Ward will get the Week 1 start. It's going to be a tough debut, though, as he'll likely be on the road against a formidable Denver Broncos defense. Look for Cam Ward to be under center from day one. Jaxson Dart, New York Giants. Patience, then pressure? Next up, we have Jaxson Dart, drafted by the New York Giants. Now, many teams that draft a rookie quarterback, especially in the first round, often express good intentions of letting them sit and develop for a full season. However, as history frequently shows us, that rarely happens. Giants general manager Joe Shough and head coach Brian Daboll know this firsthand. Back in 2018, when they were with the Buffalo Bills, their plan was to sit rookie Josh Allen. But as Shough famously recalled on SiriusXM NFL radio, via NFL.com, "We had a little bit different quarterback room at the time, but he was going to sit his rookie year and then halftime of the opening game we're getting smoked by Baltimore. So we put him in and the rest was history." Allen ended up starting the rest of that season. The Giants moved up in the draft to secure Dart, and the situation in New York is pretty clear. Shough and Daboll are heading into the season on the hot seat. They desperately need to show signs of progress, and that progress will very likely hinge on Dart showing promise by the end of the season. The current plan seems to be for Russell Wilson to start, with Jameis Winston as the veteran backup if Wilson struggles. However, if the Giants find themselves as a sub-.500 team midway through the season, the pressure to turn to Dart will be immense. The Giants have a bye in Week 14, which could be a prime opportunity to make a quarterback change. That would give Dart 4 games to showcase his potential to the Giants' ownership. Before that, their schedule is brutal, with no obvious, soft landing spots for a rookie debut. But if things go south quickly in New York, the team might not have a choice but to throw Dart into the fire. Even if he's not quite ready, I'd lean towards seeing Dart somewhere between Week 10 and Week 14. Potentially after their bye, but a bad start could accelerate that. Tyler Shough, New Orleans Saints, snapping a 54-year streak? Now, let's talk about Tyler Shough, drafted by the New Orleans Saints. This is where it gets interesting because Shough is arguably the most NFL-ready quarterback on the Saints' current roster. The Saints have a quirky quarterback draft history. They haven't drafted a QB in the first round since Archie Manning in 1971. And Manning is also the only Saints rookie QB to start Week 1 in franchise history. According to NFL.com, Shough, a second-round pick, seems poised to snap that almost unheard-of 54-year streak. He's not your typical developmental rookie. He'll turn 26 in September and has played parts of 7 seasons in college football. That kind of experience isn't usually meant for sitting and learning. He almost certainly will start this season. The biggest question isn't if he'll start, but when. Shough will still need to win the job over Spencer Rattler and Jake Haener, who is currently dealing with an oblique injury. NFL teams, despite logic, sometimes get stubborn about starting rookies, even when they're clearly the best option. However, given Shough's age, experience, and the Saints' quarterback situation. He seems like a strong bet to be the Week 1 starter at home against the Arizona Cardinals. If not Week 1, then very early in the season. Perhaps by Week 3 or 4 at the latest. This would be a historic start for New Orleans. Dillon, Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. Cleveland Browns. A chaotic carousel? Finally, we arrive at the Cleveland Browns' intriguing and highly unpredictable quarterback situation. Featuring Dillon, Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. This is arguably the most complex and potentially dramatic quarterback room in the NFL this season. What's truly unique here is that the attention is heavily focused on the second quarterback selected by a team. As Shedeur Sanders' fall to the 5th round was one of the biggest stories of the draft. He's a player who generates headlines no matter where he is on the depth chart. Currently, Sanders looks like the Browns' 4th option, behind likely starters Joe Flacco or Kenny Pickett, and then Dillon Gabriel, who was drafted 2 rounds earlier in the 3rd round. However, with Deshaun Watson sidelined for the season, the door is wide open for either Sanders or Gabriel to get a shot. Potentially quite early. The Browns' September schedule is brutal. They face the Bengals at home, then go on the road to the Ravens, host the Packers, and travel to the Lions. Week 5 isn't much better, as they play the Vikings in England. Then, they're at the Steelers in Week 6. This gauntlet could easily result in an 0-6 start. And if that happens, you can bet the quarterback carousel will be spinning rapidly. If the Browns are indeed struggling, say 0-6 or 1-5, by late October, it seems like a very decent bet they'll turn to a rookie. Gabriel was drafted higher, indicating the team initially preferred him. This could mean he gets the first crack, perhaps by Week 7, versus Miami, which would be a decent spot for a rookie debut. If Gabriel struggles, or if Sanders simply climbs the depth chart through impressive play in practice, then Sanders could absolutely get a shot. Given the current state of the Browns' quarterback room, with Flacco as a veteran option, Pickett looking for a resurgence, and 2 rookies, it wouldn't be impossible for 4 different quarterbacks to start games for them this season if they post a terrible record. The unpredictability here is off the charts. Sanders could move up the depth chart faster than anticipated and get his turn before December. The Browns might not even keep all 4 QBs on the active roster. Nothing about their QB situation is conventional. So, while predicting which rookie and exactly when is tougher for the Browns, it seems like a high probability that we'll see either Dillon Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders starting games for Cleveland by mid to late October or early November if the team isn't performing well. This rookie QB class might not have had the same top-heavy hype, but they're certainly set to make an impact across the league this season. It's going to be fascinating to watch how these timelines unfold.